Hey, I'm that nerd girl D, and welcome back to another craptastic video. Today we're talking about killer dolls. First up is Fats from the 1978 movie Magic, starring Anthony Hopkins.
Here he is, boys! Here he is, world! Here he is, Fat!
Magic is a psychological thriller that leaves you wondering, is Corky crazy? Or is the dummy really alive in the beginning? Now, towards the end you find out the truth, but it's a pretty fun ride to get there. In this movie, Anthony Hopkins portrays Corky. Corky is a failed magician turned ventriloquist, and people are wondering about his sanity. Corky and his dummy ended up doing really, really well and becoming popular to the point where he gets offered a TV show. And the TV show, the executives, they want Corky to undergo some mental health tests, some medical evaluations, and Corky's worried that he's going to fail it. During this, Corky also finds a girl. And this girlfriend, he does a magic trick for. And she likes it. And the whole time Corky's going out with her, he has this dummy talking. And everybody's wondering, is this guy crazy? Because he's pretending to be the dummy all the time. And he can't leave the dummy alone, not even for 5 minutes. So people end up being murdered, And we already know who the murderer is. It's Corky. But he's using Fats to kill. And so now everybody who thought he was crazy is ended up dead. So Corky's girlfriend ends up meeting Fats, and that turns into a clusterfuck all its own. Fats ends up coming to life for real, and we learn that Corky is not actually crazy, and he shows himself to the girlfriend. The girlfriend then runs away scared, but when she comes back, she tells Corky that she can make it work with him, and that she's no longer afraid. But when she talks to Corky, she's talking in Fats's voice. So, how it got to that point, watch the movie. It's actually pretty decent. And that's all for this one. We'll move on to the next one, which is Slappy. Next up on the list is Slappy, a ventriloquist dummy with a Napoleonic complex. You may recognize this name from Goosebumps, written by R.L. Stine. And I used to read these books a lot when I was a kid. According to R.L. Stine, Slappy was inspired by the previous dummy, Fats, and also Pinocchio. This dummy has appeared in several books, like Night of the Living Dummy and Son of Slappy. He has also appeared in 4 episodes of the Goosebumps series and both of the Goosebumps movies. Now here's a special thing about Slappy. When you say these words, he comes to life.
What's it say? Karu Marie, Odana, Loma, Malonu, Carano.
There are many incarnations of Slappy. On the series, the doll has more of a blondish brown hair coloring, whereas in the movies, it looks more like Jack Black's character, R.L. Stine, and that's fine. Also, we learned that Slappy has the ability to bring other toys to life, using the same incantation that brings him to life.
Karumari, Odanaloma, Malanu, Karano. Karumari.
Now, Slappy isn't the most menacing on this list, but Slappy is a bit problematic. If he can't control you or rule over you, he'll either frame you for a crime that he committed, or he'll just simply get rid of you. But let's move on to the next. Dead Silence is a 2007 American supernatural horror film that centers around the character Jamie Ashen. One day at home, Jamie receives a mysterious doll, and he and his wife open the box. Jamie also goes out to get food, and when he returns, his wife is dead. And yes, we already know that it's the dummy. Jamie then returns to his hometown to bury his wife, and things start to kick off from there. When Jamie returns to his hometown to bury his wife, he finds a lead to a woman named Mary Shaw, and he tries to figure out what does she have to do with his wife's death. While investigating, he finds out that Mary Shaw was killed by the townspeople. Billy goes to his old home, and he finds his father there with his new stepmother, Ella. Ella is very young in comparison to the father. She's actually around Billy's age, and her and Billy grew up together. This kind of weirds him out a little bit, but he continues to go on about his investigation. And he finds out that there have been other victims in the town who have died with their tongues ripped out like his wife did. Also, he finds out that Mary Shaw was a ventriloquist with her dummy named Billy. And Billy is the dummy that he received. Crazy, right? Well, it turns out that Mary Shaw has some business with the Ashen family, and she kills everyone. His brother, because the brother laughed at her when she was performing her dummy trick, talking about he could see her mouth moving. And so she killed this boy. And then the townspeople killed her in retaliation. So her spirit has haunted the dummy. And Mary Shaw has learned, it's pretty much like some Chucky shit happening. Mary Shaw has learned to transfer souls and create dummies and marionettes to do her will, even in human bodies. The stepmother Ella turned out to be Mary Shaw's perfect doll. That's what she called the doll that she can completely control, that's pretty, and it's pretty much like a soulless person. So Billy gets killed, and at the end of the movie, you see something really, really creepy. And it's a photo album, and Mary's turning the photo album, and you see Billy and the entire Ashen family all turned into marionettes. Dolly Dearest is a 1991 horror film that tried to ride the wave of Chucky. While not as good, it does have its moments. This demonic doll, Dolly, is possessed by a Mayan spirit named Sanzia. Sanzia is released from an excavation dig, and she goes into a toy factory and haunts one doll specifically. Elliot Wade, the new owner of this toy factory, gives one of these dolls to his daughter, and it just so happens to be the possessed doll. Damn. So this doll is starting to possess her, telling her to do things she's not supposed to do. And anybody that gets in the way of Sanzia having this little girl, that person gets killed. So when the parents find out that the doll is possessed, they end up going to the toy factory because they want to blow it up and destroy all the dolls just in case. So when they blow it up, Sanzia is gone and the little girl finally goes back to normal. Now, this film is very, very low budget. The special effects look horrible. Even when the doll speaks, you can just see the animation on it, and it's awful. It was critically panned, and rightfully so, but it does have a few good kicks.